everybody, welcome aboard. Hope you all can hear me there, outside there. How you all doing? Welcome aboard. It's been a bit. Hope you all are doing well. Just wanted to get a quick stream out there and also talk about the news, stuff that's going on. Of course, we told you so. Same old, same old. At least nothing exploded this time yet. Let's go ahead and start the event over on Discord too. If you guys want to join on in, the link is in the description. I hope you guys can hear me over on Discord. Just let me know. Some slight technical difficulties there. Okay, just let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay, good. This is actually working. For the first time, it's working. Okay, hope you all are doing well. Welcome aboard. It is your host and conductor on this wild ride. Hang on tight. It's me. It's been 2 weeks since I had the last stream. A lot of things have been happening, guys. My future mother-in-law just had knee surgery, so taking care of her. Hopefully things keep progressing well and she continues to do well. So prayers for her. Hopefully things are going there on that way. And it's been busy at work, so been trying to get back onto this. Luckily, it hasn't been a 3-year hiatus. It's been only just a 2-week hiatus. So, of course, over the weekend, what can we say? We've said this was going to happen. Train crews working again on another cleanup and track repair after collision and derailment in Pennsylvania from, of course, you know who, Norfolk Southern. This is going to happen again, of course. Could be worse. Could be, vinyl chloride dumping into the river. It's just diesel fuel, okay? At least that's it's not such of a big deal at this point. I mean, we're ingesting so much stuff in the water already as it is. So, I mean, it's a little diesel fuel to spice up your drinks here and there. You need the calories anyway, right? So, and this is in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. They just love to pick these names for some reason. It's always East Palestine, Bethlehem. I know somebody talked about this as, it's a little strange that these events seem to be happening in biblical names. But anyway, Norfolk Southern crews and contractors are working on a cleanup and track repair after a collision and derailment in eastern Pennsylvania over the weekend involving 3 trains that left some railroad cars scattered along a riverbank and at least one partially in the river. Officials in Northampton County said the derailment was reported at about 7:15 a.m. Saturday in Lower Salkin Township along the Lehigh River. Local authorities said no injuries were reported, no hazardous materials were involved, and no evacuations were ordered. And as of now, nothing yet has, no evacuations have happened since. But, I mean, look at the mess. Look at this. It's just incredible. The National Transportation Safety Board said preliminary information indicates an eastbound Norfolk Southern train struck a stopped Norfolk Southern train, sending wreckage onto an adjacent track that was hit by a westbound Norfolk Southern train. Cars from 2 of the trains derailed, Norfolk Southern said on Monday. So, I mean, if it couldn't get any worse than that, you have one train coming in that's not paying attention or the signals are not working, bumping into another train that stopped, and then hitting another train that's coming in the opposite way. I mean, this is just a cluster foxtrot of unbelievable. I don't know how many ways you can mess this up, but somehow Norfolk Southern found a way. But this is just incredible. The amount of times we said and the need for having positive train control or some sort of automatic train control installed in all of America's railroads. It's been about time. And luckily, this was just in a freight railroad area. Okay, could you imagine if this was happening, if an Amtrak passenger train was coming along? The absolute disaster that would have happened. And again, this is why we need also for passenger trains to have their own separated right-of-way in the majority of America. And this just, again, it just keeps continuing on and on and on. The township's police chief, Thomas Barnes, said containment booms were deployed after diesel fuel spilled into the river. Again, you just have just a little bit of seasoning just for taste. The fish will enjoy it. Norfolk Southern called it a small diesel fuel leak. Common when locomotives are involved. It's just common. It happens. It's just a little diesel fuel. Just just a little accident. Just looks like a whole Thomas train set just messed up over here. I mean, this is the stuff that 3-year-olds would do. But a multi-billion-dollar company in 2024 America. I mean, at this point, it might as well be ran by 3-year-olds at this point, right? The safety board sent the team, including experts in train operations, signals and train control, mechanical systems, and human performance. Where were those experts before this happened? And said late Sunday afternoon in a statement that investigators had examined the derailed cars and other train equipment. Again, this is just... And I don't know if this was because one of the trains had plastics that came out here, and if you know anything about plastic manufacturing, usually comes in granules. I'm not quite sure if this was dirt or if this is plastic. The photo is not too clear, so I can't really tell. Either way, it's a mess, and it's going to take a while before anything starts moving out of there. But yeah, this is again precision scheduled railroading at its finest. And again, the other thing that we've also talked about is the amount of investment firms that are invested into Norfolk Southern. And of course, it's the big three, Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock that have invested into Norfolk Southern. But you have all these smaller firms that are also vying for control, vying for more of a share in order to control more of Norfolk Southern. One of them in particular is called Ancora Holdings, which is really ticked off about the way things have been run. And they want to get rid of most of the directors, the board of directors, and also the CEO, Alan Shaw, of Norfolk Southern, who by the way, after all of this, got millions of more dollars here. Norfolk Southern's latest proxy statement shows Shaw's total target pay was $13.4 million in 2023, a 37% increase from the $9.7 million he received in 2022. The CEO's base salary went from $900,000 to $1.1 million, while his stock and awards and options grew from $7.7 to $10 million. So apparently, yeah, if you screw up, you can get paid more as long as you're a CEO of a company. But you can't do that if you're just a regular folk. It's business as usual. I'm not surprised. At this point, my anger and temper has tempered to a degree that it might as well be a stable, white hot sun at this rate. But this is just ridiculous. And there's some back and forth between Ancora Holdings and the board itself. Norfolk Southern saying you can't do anything to us. So this just keeps continuing on and on over here. Let me see. Was this from today or 6 hours ago? Okay. This is the one I wanted to go into. So the Pennsylvania wreck came 13 months after a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. And this is the one that happened just now along the Lehigh River. Caused a massive fire fueled by toxic chemicals, of course, East Palestine, leading to the evacuation of much of the town's residents. That incident caught national attention and brought concern among U.S. lawmakers about general railroad safety. On the news of the derailment, activist investor Ancora Holdings wasted no time again in calling for the immediate replacement of Norfolk Southern's board of directors and termination of CEO Alan Shaw. And, quote, our proposed slate and management team are unanimous in their view that Norfolk Southern must become a safer and more reliable railroad before it can ever reach its full potential, said Ancora in a Saturday statement. An incident like this, which is drawing national news coverage and resulting in more embarrassment for the railroad, should put an end to the board's unsustainable efforts to save a tainted CEO with no long-term future. Have we been talking about this along? So many of America's companies are basically being run as a short-term profit scheme to find as many ways to go ahead, appease the board, make as much money as possible. Who cares about the long-term health and future of the company at this rate, right? As long as you can be able to give yourself more stock buybacks, increase the amount of pay that you're getting. What other industry have we also seen this to? Again, this is happening in every industry that we've been going into, guys. And we're going to be talking about all of them, okay? Not just the railroads. And again, we have to be harsh on the railroads too because we want to have safe railroads in America, especially when it comes to passenger rail. And if freight railroads aren't doing their part, that's also a bad mark on passenger railroads. So it just keeps continuing on. So Norfolk Southern fought back against Ancora Monday morning, calling the investment firm's claims false. Again, talking about that Shaw received a 37% increase. Norfolk Southern basically lied and said, no, he actually had a 42% reduction in mainline, we've had less accidents since last year, which is false. And that they did not raise Shaw's compensation 37%, indicating they saw a 33% reduction in his realizable compensation at the end of the year. Again, which is also false. So they're lying through their teeth there. But, again, nothing seems to be happening from DC in terms of punishing Norfolk Southern, except for the bare minimum for what happened over in East Palestine and probably what will happen over here. The only thing about Ancora is that they don't seem to understand what precision scheduled railroading is, because their solution to what's going on with Norfolk Southern is more precision scheduled railroading, apparently. Ancora instead wants to implement a network strategy that will leverage Norfolk Southern's existing assets, namely through responsible cost management, principles of scheduled railroading, said Chadwick. The precision scheduled railroading model, and we've talked about this so many times. The precision scheduled railroading model is designed to bolster delivery timeliness and efficiency, and is known for its longer trains, more fluid rail capacity, more direct point-to-point delivery routes, and don't forget, using and abusing your staff until they fall over, abusing the equipment. Again, but the overhaul rail network consolidation has many industry workers saying PSR will result in cost cuts, fewer employees, and a potential negative impact on safety standards, while arguing it is more aimed at pleasing Wall Street than improving rail operations. Again, all the stuff that we've been saying on this channel for plenty of years. And again, well, maybe you don't want to take the train. Maybe you want to fly. Well, according to this passenger, he wanted to get off the plane. So the passenger's refusing to fly on Boeing 737 MAX. This is a pretty interesting article. Ed Pearson was flying from Seattle to New Jersey in 2023 when he ended up boarding a plane he never wanted to fly on. The Seattle resident booked with Alaska Airlines last March, purposefully selecting a flight with a plane he was happy to board. Essentially anything but a Boeing 737 MAX. I got to the airport, checked in, that it wasn't the MAX. I went through security, got coffee, I walked into the plane. I thought, it's kind of new, Pearson told CNN. Then I sat down, and on the emergency card in the seat pocket, it said it was the MAX. He got up and walked off. The flight attendant was closing the front door. I said I wasn't supposed to fly the MAX. She was like, what do you know about the MAX? He said. I said, I can't go into detail right now, but I wasn't planning on flying the MAX. I want to get off the plane. So he made it to New Jersey anyhow. Long story short, he got on a different plane. He said it was worth it. Funny enough, Pearson has a unique and first-hand perspective of the aircraft made by Boeing at its Renton factory in the state of Washington. Now, the executive director of an airline group, missing a comma, the executive director of airline group, Foundation for Airline Safety, he served as a squadron commanding officer, among other leadership roles, during a 30-year naval career, followed by 10 years at Boeing, including 3 as a senior manager in production support at Renton itself, working on the 737 MAX project before its launch. I think he knows a thing or two about a thing or two, especially about why he doesn't want to fly on this plane. So if you have somebody who was very involved in the creation and the production of the 737 MAX, and he doesn't want to get on it, what does that say for everybody else? And it's not just, again, the 737 MAX. It seems to be happening to planes everywhere. And you can see this one over here. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this. The wing falling apart on a plane. And this is on a United flight here as well. I believe this was... not quite sure if this was a 737 or an Airbus. If you guys are watching in the comments anywhere, just let me know. But... yeah. Now, the 3 passengers on the Alaska Airlines flights, the one that had the so-called door, or so-called window, which was actually an emergency door, now blown off. They're now suing the carrier and Boeing for $1 billion. I mean, you got to aim high, maybe get something out of it. At this point, maybe they'll settle for a couple $1 million. They're just putting it as high as it can. Follows a class action lawsuit filed in January on behalf of 14 passengers. So, yeah, this is a pretty big deal. And again, why would a guy who worked at Boeing and had a pretty long career in the Navy, probably in the aviation part of the Navy, why would he not want to fly on a 737 MAX? Well, it seems that the FAA has investigated Boeing's safety culture, and what they found wasn't good. Again, a whole lot of stuff on the safety culture over here. We talked about this before. Major faults in Boeing safety management systems, according to the FAA. The same bosses in charge of employee salaries were also overseeing those staffers' safety concerns. Definitely not a conflict of interest. Creating a culture where the employees hesitated to speak up for fear of retaliation. The expert panel found that many of Boeing's employees at all levels of the company did not have a clear understanding of the company's safety culture efforts and procedures, nor did they grasp their purpose. The panel said it could not pinpoint a consistent and clear process for employees to report safety concerns. The experts found Boeing's documentation of its safety management systems overly complex and constantly changing, which created a culture of confusion among the employees. Boeing has not been successful at retaining key staff members who oversee the self-certification process and has not been filling open roles quickly enough. So, yeah, this just keeps going on and on. But again, because the airlines gain a heck of a lot more, and this has been a bigger news story in the last couple of months, right, about Boeing. Because there's so much news surrounding Boeing, it seems that the executive is going to step down. Now, probably after he got a big bonus and a big major golden parachute out of that, pun intended. But apparently Ed Clark, the current head of the program, is being replaced by Katie Ringgold. Not sure if that's going to be better or worse, but apparently since the culture at Boeing is, again, it starts from the culture up and the foundation up. If the culture at Boeing is as bad as it is right now, I don't think replacing it with somebody else is going to help. So they're trying to, again, save face. They're trying to make their investors happy and say, look, it's going to be safe now. So maybe you don't want to fly. Okay, let's go ahead and drive. Well, could have a lot of bridges, and there's plenty of bridges in the United States, and I don't remember quite the exact number, but according to the American Association of Civil Engineers, America's infrastructure has a D- at this rate. It's only been getting worse. And there are thousands of bridges in the United States that are on the cusp of falling apart. So you never know. Just one day, you could be driving and all of a sudden, that happens. Okay, well, maybe I'll go ahead and avoid going on a, rickety bridge or anything like that. Well, you got to drive a car. And good luck, because there's now 1.4 million vehicles being recalled for a whole bunch of reasons. And this, of course, includes some from the big three, but also some new names as well that you probably wouldn't think of, like Toyota or Hyundai, or Toyota's on there too. So not even Toyota is safe from this. At this point, it seems the cars made after 2020 have some sort of issue with them, and it's only been getting worse and worse. And if you think, well, that's not true, well, here's a visual of NHTSA, or National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, automobile recalls from 1983 to 2003. And as you can see from here, the amount of recalls have only been getting worse and worse and worse and worse as time goes on. Let me see if I can move this over here, because it seems like OBS isn't getting it, but there we go. So there you go. You see the graph going from blue to hotter and hotter and hotter. I'll put this link in the chat below. But yeah, you guys can go ahead and see this. This is what's been going on. It's just been more and more recalls. I'm not making this up. This is just something that is happening. This is for real, guys. I would say stick with an older car, or at least something before 2020. at the very least, because it seems newer cars just seem to be having issues. There's more recalls for a whole number of issues, whether it's the equipment, electrical systems. And that seems to be the bigger thing, right? And equipment can number a whole number of issues, but let's go from here really quick. Ram recalls ProMaster vans for seatbelt warning system malfunction. A lot of these seems to be systems. GM recalls Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon for emergency braking fix. Definitely something you don't want happening all of a sudden. Jeeps recalled for high beams not activated. Oh, it seems to be their high beams are stuck. I don't know. At the time I see a Jeep on the road, it has its high beams just blasted into my retinas. More than 338,000 recalled for crash risk from Chrysler. Chrysler being Stellantis, but actually this article is calling it Chrysler, so that's what we want to hear. Recalling its Jeep Grand Cherokee L's, Jeep Grand Cherokee SUVs, because the upper control arm ball joint and steering knuckle may separate. It's the last thing you want to happen, and cause the wheel to fall outward, resulting in a loss of vehicle control and the loss of your tire too, your whole wheel coming off. Yeah, 250 recalled for steering knuckle issues. For Jeep Grand Cherokees. Toyota recalling 381,000 Tacoma trucks for crash risk. The axle housing separating. It's basically part of the chassis of the vehicle over there. Part of that connecting to your wheel. So yeah, that's not a good thing. Toyota pickups, Lexus SUVs recalled for braking concern. Ford Maverick hybrid recall, instrument and panel issue. And it's just a minor thing, right? Let me see. Instrument panel cluster may not properly illuminate warning lights or gauges. I mean, that could be an issue if you can't see what's going on and all of a sudden it says your engine's about to blow up and, well, you don't see the magic genie lamp there to make a wish and have your gaskets blow out with hot oil all over the place. More than 18,600 Toyota and Lexus vehicles recalled for rear view camera images not displaying. And the recalled vehicles also include the two schmucks who bought the 2023 Toyota Mirai. I don't know who even has that vehicle, but that's, again, this just keeps going on and on. Toyota's on this list a lot, so yeah. So much for Toyota reliability, right? Porsche recall, BMW recall, Ford Bronco recall, BMW recall, Ford recall, BMW recall. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on. BMW seeming to be on there. But at this rate, you say, okay, well, maybe we should just have cheap vehicles anyway, right? They're all crappy. They're all cheap at this point. Maybe we should just have a cheap vehicle, right? Well, you're not getting one. Because the same administration that wants you to drive electric also wants you to spend a lot on electric cars and also taxes you a lot on electric cars. So it doesn't make any sense. Now, granted, maybe you don't want a cheap Chinese electric car. But at this rate, is the reliability really that different now? Really? I mean, we make fun of China so much for things breaking down. And I'm absolutely not fronting for them at all. I would not want Chinese vehicles in the United States. I would rather we can make our own cheap vehicles again, make American cars cheap again. Not unreliable, but make them reliable and affordable again, including the Japanese cars. But it's getting ridiculous to this point. So, I mean, how much more can we go through this? How much more can we go through this? We're having more people coming in. And funny enough, they're taking the train over. So the amount of people coming into the country is only increasing. It doesn't seem to be stopping. And at this rate, I mean, even people who would be supportive of this are saying that they don't have the money. There's small towns that are getting flooded with people having their population just double overnight, or quadruple, some of them. And even us, our generation, millennials and Gen Z, we're starting to change our mind on this, right? Now, granted, some of us have already had our minds settled on this for years, but it's now starting to hit, as we're growing older and older, it's starting to hit our pocketbooks. We're saying, wait a second, we've had bloodshed, tears into the system. We've done what we were supposed to do. We went to school. We got the degrees. We're severely underemployed because there's a new study that came out that there's about 50%, more than 50% of Gen Z and millennials with degrees that are underemployed. So you get a master's degree only to go ahead and work at Starbucks or some other retail job. And there's still a vast, I think like 40%, 10 years later, still after getting the degree, are underemployed. I got to get the article again, but yeah, it's been getting bad. So now the people who are getting more affected by it, California's Gen Zers, they're starting to say, well, wait a second, you can't even help us. But for some reason, you're just bringing in a whole bunch of people into here or allowing them to come in. Why? Because they're allowing it. That's why. They're allowing it. You know, heaven forbid you go 5 miles an hour over the speed limit and you'll get a ticket. But these guys can just jump on over and over again. So yeah, that's why we're not going to be able to fix our stuff. Fix our roads, fix our manufacturing, bring back manufacturing, fix our railroads, fix our planes. Our infrastructure is just falling apart. So yes, America is turning into a live-action disaster film that you get to. You're not even LARPing at it anymore. You get to live in it. You're living in the Universal back tour, the Universal Studios tour. This is what you're living through. But yeah, this is those are the articles. That's what I wanted to go into. So yeah, guys, it's getting worse and worse. But like I said, just keep yourself safe, keep your family safe. Just try to prepare. Things are going to get worse before they get worse, and then soon, it's at some point they'll start to get better, right? Hopefully within our lifetime. But our plan right now is keep informing the public, keep informing you guys, keep making sure we know what works, what doesn't work, and getting solutions out there. Here is some good news, though, from across the pond. For those of you who've been following HS2, what that is, they finally dug a tunnel. The boring machine, the Florence, named after Florence Nightingale, finally dug through a 10-mile tunnel that took them at least 3 years or 2 years, something like that. But there you go. Greeted with fireworks and cheers from hundreds. I forget if they started. Yeah, okay, launched in May of 2021. So yeah, it took them about 3 years to dig, 10 miles. Whereas in the rest of the world, for some reason, again, the Anglo countries, we can't seem to get things set right over here. It takes us double the money and double the time to get anything done. But it's what it is. But yeah, that's some good news. And if you guys have any good news to share, let's share. I think we did see one on the Discord channel from Pensy Fan. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring that up, because that was a good article over here. And then we'll go into the chat. If I can find it. Seems I can't find it now. Where's the general chat? Now I'm lost on Discord. There we go. General chat. There we go. Here's something cool. Inside the massive repair shop where subway cars go for a makeover. And all right, well, we're gonna have to do our what we usually do. Go on archive if I can find it. Let's see. Or we'll probably just see it another time. We'll just have a good news segment at some point, right? We need that. All right, we'll let it be for now. All right, let's go ahead. Put on the chat over here. Let's see who's in. Now, if I can get back to the chat over here. Now I'm lost. Where's the voice? Where's the channel? There we go. All right, David Mitchell is on. Let's go ahead and bring him on board. David, you're on.
Hey, bud. Just got home from work. Ugh.
How's it going, man?
Did you got the link that Genesis sent you? Because I need Genesis in here because we both need to speak about this.
Where's the
This-
link? Is it on the chat here?
yeah, it's on the chat and it talk about, you remember that BRT I was talking to you about that they're going to build here in Charleston?
Yeah, I recall that.
Oh, the plans are bad.
Okay.
Like
Is
it
it?
got so bad. Like the plans are so bad. Me and Bradlin talked how bad it is on my live stream yesterday.
Let me see. Is
Like,
this the Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester County Council of Governments? Is that the link here?
yep,
All right. Let's see if this
yep,
opens up.
it on their Facebook page, and good God, the plans for it are terrible. Because you remember when I told you that I guaranteed it will not go to downtown Somerville?
Yeah.
I was right. I was bloody right.
Oh man.
And
It's,
get where we're going to terminate that act.
so they're building a BRT to more or less nowhere.
Yep, because it's going to go from downtown from the city, and into to downtown Somerville, one of the smaller city, but it's still a city. It's going to go on the outskirts to another county where the fairgrounds are. So it's going to go right out to the fairground.
Oh man. Yeah,
Like,
there seems to be mixed reaction on it, and again, there are places where buses work, not necessarily as bus rapid transit, but more of just feeder and circulator lines. But yeah, for the money they're probably going to spend on this, they might as well have built a streetcar. But let me see. The investment of the Low County Rapid Transit System supports reasonable growth in our communities, plus improve blah 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 blah. Okay. Let me see. 19 electric buses, 10-minute service intervals, 20 Wi-Fi equipped stations. Okay, that's like I want to be. The last thing you want to be in, especially in any sort of urban American place, is putzing around on Wi-Fi on a bus station. You're going to be having your head on a swivel. I mean, I've been on the buses here in Indianapolis, and my head is always on a swivel.
Oh, I know. And seeing is that instead on the side of the street, they have it in middle of the highway.
Yeah,
Like, do you see the screen?
yeah. Look at this thing here. You have how many lanes? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait. And this is another highway over here with at least 3 lanes. This is the problem, and we've talked about this so many times. The problem is not, we'll just build something over here and this will help. No, you have to look at the foundation of how you're building things in a more urban setting. You have to have walkable cities. This is not walkable. This is just concrete everywhere.
Like, and they're building it for the cars. Like, I guarantee the car companies are behind it paying for this, because let's not forget what they did to the trolley car system. And I guarantee if the car company and the car dealerships in that area paying them to build it. Because about 4 years ago, and I'm going to bring it up, back in 2019 and 2020, they would talk about building a commuter rail line from downtown to downtown Somerville. And that got shot down to the ground, and they said that they're going with this crap. Like, and saying it's not going to go to downtown Somerville, because it's stupid. And not Brightline, but Demetrius, look on Google Map and look at where the fairgrounds are that I'm talking about, like in Latchin County.
All right, I'm not too familiar with South Carolina. So if you got like a Google Maps tab that has it right there with the link on, I'll gladly put it on, man.
All right, I will do that real. Or actually, no, because let's be honest. If I do, it will kick me out of the Discord because I'm on an old tablet. But
no worries, man.
If you look, downtown Somerville is in Latchin. That's a 20-minute to 30-minute drive from downtown Somerville to Latchin, South Carolina, where the fairgrounds.
All right, let me go ahead and bring it up here on Google Maps.
Because it's a boondoggle right here, you know? Like, hardly no one is going to use this.
I mean, and here's the other thing, right? I know what you're saying about the automobile companies being a part of this. The part of it is that it's been so ingrained into American urban building culture and into city planning that, especially when you have the silly commissioners as it is already, because I mean, most commissioners who I've met, they're not the brightest in the bunch. They just got there by happenstance most of the time. And again, when it comes to politics, it's more about who you know than what you know. They're not the brightest in the bunch, so they're just gonna rubber stamp anything that somebody or some. It's funny enough, on the Facebook, they have the guy from the whatever, Lyles Langley or whatever his name is, from the Simpsons, from the monorail episode. But yeah, that's the thing. If you have some smooth talking lobbyist that comes over there, that changes everything. Okay, let me go ahead and put on satellite. All right, I got it on here, man. Direct me to where I'm looking at over here. Got Somerville on.
All right, look up downtown Somerville.
I got that.
Look up downtown. All right, type in Latson, South Carolina. The Latson Fairground.
How do you spell that?
Latson. It begins with an L.
Okay, latch. Is it Latchin?
No. It's very hard to. Let me bring it up on my phone, like.
Yeah, just copy and just type it on here in the chat, and I'll just copy and paste it on here because I have no clue what I'm looking at.
All right, because it right near I'm at Interstate 26, but it's named Latchin, South Carolina. It begins with an L.
Okay, so I'm going along state to Interstate 26.
SON.
All right, did you type it in the chat or?
All right, let me type it in because I actually have the address of where it's going to go. Like, it's ridiculous with right here because it's stupid.
Yeah, like, and it's again, it's just continuing bad planning. I mean, look at this. I mean, the way that most of these American cities are built. So here's Charleston over here, but look at how it just keeps sprawling out and out and out and out. And it just keeps.
I did put the name in the chat.
All right.
Like.
There we are, 78 Latson. All right. Let me go ahead and copy that. Put it in here.
And the road it on is 9850 Highway 958 or 9850.
Okay, I see a flea market. I see Latson.
Yeah, it's right there. That where the bus is going to terminate at.
Wait, at the flea market?
Yep, because that happens to be the fairground.
Okay, so this is the fairgrounds. What I'm looking at over here. That's what I'm looking at. Okay.
And that where the buses are going to terminate at is stupid. A lot of people are pissed, and I don't blame them.
So this doesn't connect down to Charleston at all. This is just something to just go back and forth, I guess, on this state road or this Highway 78. That's what's going on?
Yep. It's going to go from there to downtown Charleston. Like, literally, that's the route. And I just wanted to say, you gotta be crazy, because that is the stupidest idea I have ever heard, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just look at the difference in how... Look at how densely packed in Charleston is, and this is an old city. And then you just keep going out, and this is where the sprawl just keeps happening in American cities. Yeah, and then like here, I'm going up 78, and we see this all the time here, right? This is a similar scene over here. Here you go. You got the Interstate 26. You got the hotels everywhere. You got a Walmart. You got the Lowe's. You got basically, look at it. This is just, there's no green over here. This is just pavement after pavement after sidewalks after sidewalks. It's
Well, I know, and I've been in that area before plenty of time. Like that part of my home city.
yeah.
And here, if they wanted to really invest in transit, there are train lines that go from downtown Charleston to downtown Somerville. Common sense would tell you, hey, we got tracks here already. Even though they're owned by a Class 1, aka Norfolk Southern, and they only get 7 trains on that line, it's dark signal territory, but they could have, easily did a pop-up metro system that used DMUs like you see in Europe.
Yeah.
Heck, even Petra is charging to invest in DMU.
Yeah, why don't the kids want to go outside? Because this is the outside that they built. Look at this. This is this whole maze of just suburbs over here, and this is just problems after problems that we're dealing with here in the United States, and it's going to take as long as it's taken to get to this point that at any point, whenever a city or a county wants to go ahead and plan some sort of solution, they're just picking silly solutions.
And in here, King Charleston, for the whole area, we're now at a population of 1 million now. We did hit it a month ago.
Yeah.
So
here, look, there's some more. Here you go. There's some more green space that it looks like they're gonna take over. I guess this used to be a farms, or it's going to be closing down. They're building out roads over here, so this will be gone soon. Gone, and there'll just be more sprawl and more sprawl.
Oh, I know, and that's the problem. Like, me and Brightline, aka Genesis, with his real name, and I think we should invite him on here because me and him were talking about this yesterday on my live stream. The problem is that we had an opportunity, and we're going to keep on going around that opportunity, and by the time we get to the point, it will be too late. Like, we already have train tracks that go from smack dead right there, from downtown Charleston into downtown Somerville. It would have been so easy, and also it would have connected to the Amtrak station,
Yeah. Let's go ahead and bring in Genesis on. See if we can get to this, and then we'll go over to... we'll just bring Minor Tree on, too, afterwards. So, Trarell, you're on.
What's up? It has been it has been 2 weeks though.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I'm busy. I'm trying to make sure that I could at least get because I was thinking, maybe I'll do it during the weekend, but I just had to make sure that my girlfriend's mother's or fiance's mother. What am I talking about? It's proposed to her and everything. So yeah, my future mother-in-law will be there. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was back in Thanksgiving, but yeah, proposed to her back there, and yeah. So hopefully,
speaking
we're looking to get married sometime this year.
Oh, speaking of that, my wife Val's birthday is coming up on this Saturday, March 9th.
Oh, well, happy birthday to her. Happy early birthday.
Also, last week, my cousins, week after before that, my cousins actually started a party in the Dominican Republic, so it was nice. It was a great party. Family, business aside, we gotta talk about that that stupid BRT system that South Carolina is building, or should I say Charleston?
Like me and Jenna, we agreed this is bad. This is very bad.
We got
This is the stupidest of this. This is the stupidest project I had ever heard in the wild.
I mean, we got to just have a dedicated BRT episode because in my neck of the woods over here in Indianapolis, there's been a whole, you can say SHIT storm about the Blue Line. It's there's a lot to go into, to say the least, but that requires an episode of its own. Honestly, there's just a lot about BRT that's just... It just says a lot about American urban planning in general and transportation in this country.
Like, it got it to the point where I'm actually planning to make a standalone video talking about why it is a terrible idea, and probably an extra video of why we should have gone with a commuter rail system instead of a BRT. Like, I'm actually planning to, and I'm thinking about this. I am planning to make a video talking about this on my YouTube channel because, let's be honest.
Listen.
Honest.
I think Alan Fisher should actually make a video about that as well.
Because, good God, this is going to be a failure. Because moment that this fails, they're going to say, hey, even though this bus is not running, we can use the extra lane for more traffic.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's just. I mean, look at this already. Just the amount of lanes that they have already here. I mean, that's again just adding a bus is it's like putting perfume on a turd. It's not going to solve the problem. The problem is just get rid of the turd in general. That's what you got to start from.
Exactly. And here, funny thing, like, you remember I talked about my phase 1 plan was to go from downtown Toronto to Somerville, connecting with the Amtrak station and the airport.
Yeah.
And I talked about phase 2 going up to King Street, phase 3 coming down here to Ravenel, phase 4 to connect some part of West Ashby, Johns Island, James Island, in Papua, even Kewalt. With those three, them areas are going to be the hardest because, one, it depends on NIMBYs and suburbanites who love their cars who can't accept that they're back. You know.
Right. Let's go ahead and bring Minor Tree on, and then Adam Everywhere. I think we'll bring him on as well in a minute.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I wanted to add something. The Dominican Republic is actually there's a new investor in rolling stock, and it's coming from Japan, though.
All right, can't go wrong with that, I guess.
Yeah.
How's it going, Minor Tree?
Pretty good. I'm on my phone because I was enjoying the stream, and then just before you went to the callers, my computer decided it was a lovely time to shut down and do some updates. So
man. It's just Windows, man. It's Windows. Funny enough, now I mean I'm not getting Windows 11 on this PC. Next PC I'm getting, I'm putting on Linux. I'm done. I'm done with Windows.
I feel you, my man. I feel you.
Yeah. Other than the fact that you had to apologize for the start of the stream being delayed, you're keeping up with the UK punctuality instead of the Japanese punctuality.
Hey, it was just 2 minutes. It was 2 minutes, man. Come on. I mean, UK punctuality, I would be here coming in at midnight.
Oh, speaking of that, Bretlon, I posted a meme about Genesis in the chat.
To get you some context, Amtrak, just about 3 weeks ago, Amtrak just got derailed by a milk train.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That is funny.
Let me see if I can get the meme on here. Hey, Genesis, how do you feel about hitting a milk truck? Well, to be honest, it really sours my day. I'm smelling like sour milk. Could have just said it like, well, to be honest, it really sours my day. That's the way to just punch out the joke. But I get it, man. This is pretty funny.
Yeah, they're trying to milk that pun all the way home.
Oh, man.
I love this.
I mean, it's just a whole joke in there, man.
I know, and because Genesis, because Brightline, your real name is Genesis, so it fits too. You know?
I'm just saying you could have skimmed it down a bit.
I know, but it's so funny.
You just can't get over the raw humor of it.
Nah.
Is somebody come on. I got the puns here. Come on. All right. But anyway, anything you wanted to input here, Minor? Or?
Other than the fact that until Congress decides, to get the railroads and put them under the either antitrust laws or maybe just say, hey, get your act together, not much is going to get done. So I'd expect that to be taken care of in the next 5 to 10 business years.
At this rate.
Oh, hey. Computer decided to start working again. But for the most part, yeah, having Buzz Network over in Charleston might be a good idea in the short term, but David
in the
pointed
long
out that
term,
rail would be a superior option for both overall and in terms of.
because kicker is that the rail line that go from downtown to downtown Summerfield actually hit every spot that you need when you're doing a transit system. Am I right? Like, it ain't rocket science. It's common sense. Am I right about that? And the bus routes, what they're doing, go all the way around that and take one of the worst roads you could possibly think of.
And on Minor Tree, I don't think your mic's working because I see your thing going green, but it's not going into the. It may be a Discord thing, I don't know, or a Windows thing. It's usual, but I mean, it's just what it is. See if you can try getting back in and out, but because we can't hear you, man. But yeah, David. I mean, this is just what's been going on, right? I mean, you have infrastructure just falling apart within the United States, and we're just like, yeah, we'll just slap something else on top of it. You know, again, just you're spritzing perfume on a turd that's just getting worse and worse. We're just throwing in more turds into there and just thinking, yeah, we'll just spray some Lysol. Maybe that'll make it better.
Our infrastructure is crumbling. And I hate to say that word.
Yeah, it's already crumbled. We're just it's a matter of picking the short straw when you're driving over somewhere. I mean, every time I go over a bridge, I just go ahead and do a sign of the cross. I'm just saying, just let me get over this, please, God. Just let me get over it. You know, I don't want anything to happen here, please.
Like in here, Dane, both the bridges, like on the Interstate, like 526, those bridges were built back in the late 80s, like 1984 through the late 80s. And when they built the bridge is for I-95, or not I-95, but 526, I think.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's just, again, and this is the story everywhere, right? Almost every single bridge or every single highway, there's some sort of deficiency with it because it's not working and something's wrong with it, right? Let's go ahead and bring Star Force on here as well. Let's just make it everybody come on in. There we go.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right, Minor Tree, I think, is there stuff working now, or? Okay. It may not be working again, but.
Yeah, it probably not working for him again. Probably Windows.
The infrastructure's falling apart. Windows is falling apart. I mean, hey, you could just have have our infrastructure being run by Windows 11. At this rate.
I mean, at least I'm using a Mac, so.
At this point, honestly, a Mac. I would take a Mac at this point, and that's typically sacrilege for me. But I mean, at least the Mac doesn't just stop in the middle of somewhere and just like update, and it just forces you to update.
Which Mac are you talking about? Are you talking about the Mac OS?
Whenever I use a Windows computer, it's like almost every day I have takes you to the updating screen.
And it's like, I didn't ask you, and it's like, sir, we are updating your computer now. Like, no, I didn't ask you to. I put you down for a reason. So I save my work, and when I want to update, I'll update when I feel ready to. I don't feel ready to. I don't want to lose all my work. I don't want to lose.
Just unplug the computer. Problem solved.
Just don't use it. Just don't get Windows. Oh,
That's
man.
true.
Yeah, it's just everything's just getting crappier and crappier. It's like I miss the days like Windows XP. You could have that forever and it would still run fine.
Oh, dude, I miss those days. It's so nostalgic.
Yeah.
Do.
Maybe updating stuff too much might not be as good of a thing as we thought.
It not, and it also, I'm going to bring it up because them updated stuff are actually causing some electronic, like phones and laptops, to run out of memory storage. And I'm talking about the internal storage.
Yeah, and that's done on purpose. That's part of what they call planned obsolescence. So
because kicker is because that internal storage, once that run out, and if you have an update or you accidentally reboot it or download stuff at that, or like even reboot the phone or a tablet, and it don't have memory storage, it will crash and aptly cause the laptop, phone, or tablet you're using it on to fry itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a whole lot of just terrible things that businesses are doing to just keep, the whole forward march to progress. This whole thing, well, it's going to be better because the future is coming, because it's the current year. Some things just work because traditionally they just work, like the way that we traditionally made cities and towns, because it just worked for the way that human beings are. And that's just been something that's been for millennia. And the way, just there's some things that just naturally work, like having a rail system or having streetcars within a densely packed city. But now we've gone to a point, well, you have to have more. We have to have, everybody's going to have bigger and better and bigger and better. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking of trading in my car at this rate for some sort of tank or something, like a used like police utility SUV, because that thing will survive a wreck at 75 miles an hour. And at this point, you're engaging in an arms race with the Karens out there, with everybody else out there that just, I want a big truck, I want a big boy truck, or I want an SUV because it makes me feel safer, or bigger cars, bigger roads, bigger,
Brian, guys,
just,
I want to bring up the people who drive big trucks have small, pee-pee.
Okay, we've been at this. It's like at this point, I just don't care. It's like there's no need to have a truck that big, especially if you're not using it. If I see your
there's a regulation that in America, there's actually a regulation for that specific thing. You have to have your cars bigger for some reason.
Yeah, so it's an EPA rule that. And it takes it from the size of the vehicle. The larger the vehicle is, the less stringent the APA regulations are on it. So you can get away with a larger vehicle with less miles per gallon. Because it's just, the whole thing is just getting really silly. And of course, larger vehicles are going to have, when you're talking about the average weight of a car, I think maybe 20 years ago, we're talking about even more than that. I mean, maybe 3,000, 4,000 pounds. I mean, now, we're talking about double the amount. We're talking about 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 pounds.
That regulation is actually caused by a chicken dispute. No kidding.
Yeah, that I remember reading about the size of trucks becoming larger because in the 1960s, some sort of... I forget the exact details of it, but there was something about transporting chickens. Yeah, if somebody remembers the actual story, just feel free to just go ahead and riff off, because I can't remember the exact thing right now.
But Jane is it that vehicles like Jane is it that cars, they can't even go, like cars back about 20 to 30 years ago could have gone farther on a full tank of gas than cars now. Like the newer cars, they do not work at a full tank. Like literally, you can't even go you can't even go from Toronto to Charlotte on a full tank of gas in the newer car. The older cars you pull it up.
Again, it's just doing what works, and just sticking with that and making that better, instead of just, things are bad, but let's just keep, we'll just keep throwing bus rapid transit on it, or more lanes, or more highways, or more parking spaces. It's just, you're not solving the actual issue. The actual issue is that you've for decades we've made terrible decisions in thinking, we're in a post-war world. History is over. We can now have suburbs all over the place galore. We can go ahead and endless consumerism. You have to get a new vehicle. You can't let it go over 100,000 miles. It has to be bigger than before. You have to have more stuff on it. And even though you're not going to use the bed of your truck, you have to show off, because the guy down the street, he's got a Ford F450, and it's a $120,000 truck. So you got to have a $130,000 truck.
Oh, listen. Wait until if you think things are going to get bad right now, wait till you get to 2030, where AI is going to take over everything, man.
Yeah, minor tree. Yeah, European chicken protectionism for light vehicles. Yeah, there was something about that, and again, you go to other countries. Funny enough, you're gonna find K trucks that have larger. There was an article talking about a $14,000 Toyota truck that Toyota produces right now that has a larger bed capacity than an F-150.
Funny enough, those trucks are in my country right now.
Yeah, and then, that's something fine. I mean, you can buy that for $10,000, $12,000 new. Sure, you can do a heck of a lot more with it than having to buy or buy a van. That's the other thing. I mean, if you need the space and you're working, buy a van. There's a lot more space that you can put in a van, and there's a lot more that you can do with it. But it's this silly obsession, and a lot of it is basically this crass consumerism. Which has gone over to a point, and I mean, if you guys have seen the Super Bowl commercials, I mean, they're just getting worse and worse every year. Apart from the Super Bowl, just that whole entire game was rigged. I mean, you can't tell me that wasn't a show.
That's scripted.
Yeah,
that game was rigged.
That was scripted.
I mean, come on. If I owned the NFL or if I invested in the NFL, of course I'd want the darling team to win with with Taylor Swift and everybody involved because it's going to make more money. Why would I want to have an upset? It's going to cost me more money to have an upset. So it's everything to avoid that. So and it's. I mean, the whole thing is just getting silly.
I think we need to get rid of. I think we need to get rid of unnecessary regulations that crippled this country as it is right now.
Yeah, at this point, we just need to start start from a fresh book at this rate. Take stuff that works and just have it done already. So when things, and that's the thing, we're not trying to destroy anything. We don't want to destroy anything, but we want to build something that makes sense. So as things are falling apart, we're building over here, right? That's not necessarily building something, but at least, we're looking at stuff like Brightline and what they're doing. To at least support those projects, see what's going on, and use that as an example to bring forward into the future.
Speaking of that, Demetria, Brightline might have to fight with the airline and car companies again with their plan from Orlando to Tampa. You know the plan right away that they were going to do using the interstate from Orlando to Tampa?
What's going on with that?
They got denied it, and the money that they were going to use for the research year for a route
really
got pushed back. Like, I only found it out about 2 days ago when Lucid Stu from Stu's News on his YouTube channel talked about it.
Okay, that's new because the newest, the latest that I've heard about Brightline was the station in Stewart that they may be building, but this is new. Yeah,
I've heard about that too.
But this is new. Do you have any articles or links to it or something that I can go ahead and research on them?
Well, the guy it was from another YouTuber that I was watching the day before I did my live stream, and it was on an article that he would talk about. I might try to look for it later on, but
yeah,
it's going to be another fight that we're going to have to start calling out again,
Might be the FDOT is opposing that because the Florida Department of Transportation is actually focusing on expanding more lanes and other streets as well. Gosh.
Mm-hmm. But I remember this year out we make 10 years since you did that video of what happened to American passengers, like to the American passengers system. You remember when you did that video about 10 years ago?
Oh, yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff. I just need to get back into making videos. And I know I keep saying that, man, but it's just like I haven't had the time to just sit down and just work on stuff.
Because I remember the part where in that video you did 10 years ago where you said where the money really came from was to build all these interstate airports came from the railroad because the government took the money from the railroad and gave it to their competition tax-free.
Yeah.
Like, I knew one of the reasons why, because let's be honest, if the railroad did not And I'm going to say that if the railroad did not give that money to the government for they could build their little stupid interstate system, they would have probably got nationalized, Because,
Yeah.
let's be honest, the government and not would do something like that if a railroad said no to them. And we all knew what happened back during the First World War when they nationalized the railroad and nearly ran them into the ground. And a lot of people in the 50s who still remembered it, or my kids when it happened, said, no, we don't need to give them the money,
Yeah.
Like, when you factor what happened during the First World War when they nationalized the whole rail system during the First World War, and you factor in what happened in the 50s, it actually adds up. Because let's be honest, you don't want the government to take over your company and nationalize it and screw it over. Am I right about that?
Yeah, especially the way the government has been run for the last 100 years or so. I mean, it's just getting worse, right?
Because saying is that it would either back in the 50s, it would either give your money to the government to build their little stupid failure of a project, aka the interstate system, or you were going to have to say bye-bye to your railroad company because the government is going to take it over. Am I right?
Yeah. Okay, I think this is the article that was talked about on Lucid's video. Orlando to Tampa passenger rail gets changed in Florida legislature. Brightline has signaled that it wants to extend the service to the Tampa area. State Bill 1226, initially would have led the Florida Department of Transportation setting aside a 44-foot wide corridor in the Interstate 4 right-of-way to extend to Tampa the existing passenger rail service currently terminating Orlando. But Senate Transportation Chairman Nick Segley, R of Indian Rocks Beach, made a change that removed that proposed directive to the Transportation Department. Under the change, the Florida Rail Enterprise would be required to include among its duties the preservation of future rail corridors and rights-of-way in coordination with the department's planning of the state highway system. Okay, so what's being planned with the state highway system? That's a sneaky change. Segley said concerns. Hold on, wait. Concerns have been raised that putting in law a requirement about the I-4 right-of-way would tie the hands of the department. Well, I mean, they've already agreed on this before, so why? This is not making any sense. Okay, so it's in.
Dimitri, I think when they do a next meeting, I think you should go to it and call them out on this.
Okay. Okay, this is a Senate. This is a Senate bill. Okay, so there's one bill in the Senate and there's one bill in the House. The one in the House does not have this rail proposal for I guess kneecapping Brightline. This Senate bill does. So I got to see what this. Let me see. Florida State House. Let's see. Senate bills.
I think we might need to call them out right now.
Yeah, let me see where this, because I don't know if it's even gotten out of the committee or what. Let me see. Regular session 2024, bill number SB 26. Let's see, search. Let's see what happens. Last event, Monday, March the 4th, so today, it was placed on a special order calendar for tomorrow.
Ooh.
All right, let me put this up over here. Let me see. Yeah, General Bill revising the list of area program responsibility within the Department of Transportation, requiring that a specified amount of recurring funds from the State Transportation Trust Fund be made available for the Intermodal Logistics Center Infrastructure Support Program, revising provisions relating to the department's mission, goals, and objectives, requiring government entities that propose certain projects to conduct a traffic study, revising the length of time before which an active prepaid toll account becomes unclaimed property, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Man, all right, so Senate referrals basically went through unanimously, all yays. Related bills is a similar bill that's in the House, of House Bill 1301. That was the one that we're talking about. There's the text over here. I guess they have it in PDFs. Vote history, no votes record, bill history. Yeah, this is a... Let me see. Placed on special order, placed on calendar, pending review. Now in fiscal policy. All right, so it's moving from Transportation Committee, it moved to the Rules Committee, moved to one committee to another. Now it's in Fiscal Policy Committee.
need to pass.
So yeah, it's got to go through all these committees. They have to say yay in all these committees. Then it goes to a general vote in the Senate, and then it moves over to the House. And then it's This is again, the thing is that you have a House bill already. Most likely, what's going to happen? The House is going to vote for their version of the bill. The Senate may vote for their version of the bill. Nobody gets along, and they'll have to come to the table to vote for a version of a bill or make a bill that both agree on. So this whole provision, yes, of taking away the right of way from, or basically kneecapping Brightline to the whims of the FDOT if they want to go ahead and extend, 3,000 lanes across Florida.
Yeah. Listen, I think what they're doing this is because they want to expand the lanes on I-4. That's just me.
Expand it the other way. Don't expand it in between. Expand it the other way then.
And here I'm saying, I think I know who really behind it. It's probably our old friend from American Airlines.
I don't know if Bob Crandall's too involved with this, but let's see what senators he's boosted. Let's go to OpenSecrets.org.
Yeah, I think we need to investigate first before we jump into conclusions.
Yeah, we got to hold on to the conclusions here, David, because sometimes you.
I know, but who would benefit from screwing over Brightline with this bill? Who would benefit from it?
Who knows?
I mean, they're
the bus companies, the airlines, and the car companies.
I mean, I get it, but let's see, Crandall. Let's just put Crandall. Not Crandall.
New names attached to this, so who knows?
Robert Crandall. Let's see, revolving door, Robert W. Crandall employment summary. That's interesting to see, but let me see what that says about it. I know I had his Open Secrets page years ago open and looking through basically all the airline companies that he fronted. And funny enough, they were around the same time that he fronted $1 million over to Citizens Against the Train. Or Citizens Against Railroad Expansion, whichever that doesn't care.
I think that organization just got disbanded.
Oh yeah, what I heard that they got disbanded. Plus, some of the members are getting investigated possibly for fraud.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Employment history at the Brookings Institution. I'm not sure if this is the same. Bob W. Crandall. It should be. Yeah, this is going to take a little bit more time to look into this, but yeah, this is sneaky. There's something fishy about this.
Yeah, like when I heard about it and when Lucius Stew said that, I said there was something scummy about it.
Not only that, this was just placed just now while we were talking. This was placed on special order calendar today at 8:43 p.m. So this just happened as we were speaking.
Like did not a coincidence. Did not. Did definitely sketchy.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look into this, and you guys, if you can look through it, I got to be more involved also in Discord. So I'm just gonna leave Discord up on my desktop and see what else happens. And I gotta download it on my phone too. I finally got a new SD card on this. Speaking of bloatware that continue to comes in as software updates and apps update, because it seems like every single update the apps get larger and larger. So now I had to get a new SD card, but I can probably put back Discord on my phone again and finally keep up with things. Because that's basically the main reason I haven't been able to get on Discord is because I can't download it on my phone.
Too many flies.
Yeah, and I don't want to buy a new phone. I like this phone. I bought this back in 2018. It's fine. I don't need a new phone. Leave me alone.
Well, with me, phones that I will say with, it will not be Apple because good God, Apple sucks.
Oh yeah.
I grew with Samsung.
I usually
Like-
stick with Sony because I need the cameras for doing stuff for and the cameras the quality of them have been superb when I've done the stuff. I mean, this was like the first like
Sony.
HDR camera that came out. Pretty good, but yeah, I gotta.
Here's the kicker.
I-
Sony phones with their camera and Samsung phone camera, like both them phones have amazing cameras to them.
Well,
you
funny
know?
enough, the Samsung uses the Sony sensors for the cameras.
Oh, that truth would make it even good, you know?
Yeah. And even Canon now at this point, they're using Sony sensors for the DSLRs. Yeah, Sony has completely they've won the sensor game in that. Yeah, I mean, back to what we're talking about over here. I mean, things are just getting crazier, guys. So let's go into closing thoughts. It's 9:19. Let's see if we can shut this down at 9:25. Last thoughts.
Well, my thing is that, and I'll be honest about it, is that we need to get on it and stop it before it even have a chance. Because let's be honest, I remember when you literally called out the people who were dead against Brightline a couple years ago. Go back when they were first beginning. I remember that.
Yeah, we gotta get back on this. So that's definitely something.
Because if we don't, it might be a big blow right here that might set us back for another 5 to 10 years if we don't stop.
Yeah, it needs to come out. At least sort of campaign this out. Talk to some. There's got to be some journalists out there that will pick it up or something, right? But there's ways that we can go about it to get this out there because people need to know about this, and there's got to be also some people within the Florida House and Senate that would not be for this once they figure out what's actually in the bill.
Oh yeah, and here I remember when you put three corrupt people in jail. I still remember that, you know, what you're calling out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're expecting government officials to actually get up and do their job and read the bills before they vote on it? That's optimistic.
No, they don't. That's the thing. It's if they're on Team R, they're just going to get their news. They don't even read their briefs. If you give them more than a page on a brief, they're not going to read it, if at all. They get their news from Fox News on the R side, and on the D side, they get their news from MSNBC or CNN. That's on the TV there that they're just like looking at their desk like this, glazed over, and that's their intel brief. That's basically what they get.
Yeah, until you realize most of the major networks are actually going under.
Yeah, and those are the only people who are watching it is people in that age group, which are mostly, again, all the politicians fall into that age group.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Most of these mainstream media outlets don't cover the news.
Yeah, and they're definitely not. They're not going to cover this on Brightline. This is they're doing this in a very sneaky way because they know it's not going to be covered. There's only a few little blogs here and there that will pick it up, but it's not going to be major news. It's not going to be front page on the Sun Sentinel or something like that down in Florida. It's just not.
Just make it simple. All current people in all forms of government, from your assistant to your local dog catcher all the way up to the president, and all unelected bureaucrats, effective immediately. You're ineligible to run again, and if you're unelected, congratulations, you're out of a job effective the end of the year.
Yeah, you're fired.
You're
fired.
It's like, all right, we get to pick new people. I don't care if they're incompetent. They're better than what we have.
Yeah.
It's like, if they're incompetent, don't worry. You don't have to worry about them actually getting reelected if they're on the election side, and if they're on the non-elected side, i.e. being hired, it's like, don't worry. They'll be gone in 6 months at most.
Yeah, and again, this is supposed to be a representative position. It's not a job. It's not a career. The problem is that for the last several decades, it's been treated as a career. Probably longer than that. It's always been a career to some, especially in falling civilizations. You get politicians that they just spin politicians. That's all they, I've been seeing this now in my own generation. Somebody who I went to school with, and now she's or she's running for Congress in Florida, but she's never really had I mean, she's gone from being president over in a college to being at, again, another political organization to now running for a political office. Like, but what have you actually done? Do you know what it is to have hard work? Do you know what it is to actually run a business? Not run a business by, well, I started in my garage when I was 19 and I built a multi-billion-dollar company by the time I was 22. Yeah, with mommy and daddy's money. Sure. All right. That's not building a company up from scratch. That's using seed money. And again, it's no offense to people who do that, but that's the thing. There's a disconnect between what's reality and what's fact. Or what's reality and what these people's versions of reality are. I mean,
most of the time when you're building a business, those who have skin in the game, i.e. using their own money, tend to do a lot better than those that actually build it with seed money. But it really just comes down to business owners and people who've started businesses have a better understanding on how to actually run the government than an average politician.
Yeah. And there's absolutely examples to that, of course.
I think we need more political outsiders who have more experience. Well, not more experience. We might need political outsiders that are not.
Oh, and being that, we might have to worry about Nikki Haley now because she do not like union.
I mean, at this point, she's just running just to spite Trump. At this rate, let's be honest. She knows she's not going to win. This is just.
And SCOTUS already voted on the Trump being taken off the ballot, and they voted 9-0 that the states are not allowed to do that.
Yeah, if you have a unanimous vote from the Supreme Court, I think you're doing something really wrong. Because if even the Supreme Court can figure that out, and half the time they can't figure out anything right, if they voted 9-0 on that, you're wrong.
If they vote 9-0 on something and you're on the other side, just shut up, leave, and go home and reconsider your life up to that point.
Yeah, it's like, what have I done here?
That does not work that way. That does not work that way. There are some people who are outraged of that ruling. They just want to get rid of Trump.
Here's the thing that I feel like we need what our country, our politicians, and especially those who have any kind of congressional power or anything, I think what we need to do is, like, we really do need to focus more on our country than what we're focusing on overseas. I know we're like, there's been this thing where, like, the U.S. is like either like the father, you have the U.S. being the father country, or like we're basically the world's parent.
Yeah, the world police.
Parental figure, and that we're trying to help each other. But the thing is, we're just like every other country, which is like we can't just continually drain our resources to help our other countries. Like selflessness can only get you so far in life, and you want to focus. It's like the individual. Like, you want to focus on yourself before you start helping other people. It's
we're like the entitled parent who take me no better. Because we're like the entitled parent who know better, who raised the kid, We're that type.
It's more of you're on a major airline, and what is one of the first things they brief you on? All right, in the event of an emergency, put your mask on yourself before you help your neighbor.
Exactly. You can't help if you don't have your own stuff in order. You can't help anybody else.
Exactly.
Well, you can help other people, but it won't be for very long.
Right, and it won't be effective at all. Exactly.
It's not a matter of selfishness. It's just the truth. It's reality. It's the reality. Like, you have to put yourself into that condition to help other people by building yourself up first, and then you can help other people.
Yeah, it's exactly it's why now you're seeing this change even in California Gen Zers, which that's a pretty liberal group. I mean, already living in California, you tend to be more liberal, and then you're Gen Zer, so you either ultra at the far right or the far left. But now they're starting to change because it's hitting them, and they're figuring out like, wait a second, we're helping out everybody else, but you haven't helped us here, born and raised over here. What's going on? Why are we bringing in more people to help when you can't even help us?
It finally hit them, and they start realizing, and some of them are realizing too that the gun laws are stupid. Like the Gen Zers over there, they want some of these gun restrictions. They want them lifted because they're saying that the violence over there is bad because how strict it is with guns that you can't even protect yourself.
Yeah, well, it's California. Well, it's too late at this point.
Let me say something. In California, specifically in San Francisco. We have not a police chief, but some politicians who are actually enabling chaos over there. Corrupt politicians.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I just don't trust the blue at all. I mean, they're not there to help you. They're there to help the insurance companies to serve the state. They're serving the state, and the state doesn't feel like helping you.
They're doing whatever the politicians say, and I don't remember who said it, but he worked on a police force years ago, and he's like, 10% of the police force are basically your Boy Scouts. They'll do everything right no matter what. And there's 10% of the police force that are just dirty cops, and they're just horrible and make everyone else look bad. And that remaining 8%, they do whatever of which of the two groups are in power.
Yeah, and it's sad and unfortunate, but the guys who are the actual good guys, they're far and few and in between. And if they speak out, they're gonna get ousted out.
Speaking of that, I got a story for y'all that will probably get y'all angry.
All right, well let's save it here because we're at 9:30 right now. I was gonna close this off at 9:25, but I think it's and again
it's about transit. It's about transit and cops.
Let's save it for next time, David, because we're running out of time here. But anyway,
I talked about it on my live stream before.
Yeah, talk. I'll listen to it, man. But we gotta cut things off. But I think again, let's end it here at this point. We need to start focusing on our own country first. We need to start fixing up ourselves first before even thinking about the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is not going to think about us when we fall apart. In fact, it's going to be affecting the rest of the world when we fall apart, because if we do, everybody else falls down. So
that's true.
That's the problem. Everybody's thinking that if some sort of civil war happens, we're just going to be separated over here. No, the rest of the world is going to be into absolute complete chaos, which is why they don't really want something like that to happen. They want to keep it in the realm of fiction. But at this rate, if things keep coming at this point, it's just going to get slower and slower and slower to a point of chaos, and it's whatever it is. We just need to start.
And God forbid there would be another superpower that is actually a rival of the United States rising up.
Exactly, and that's the thing. We're not the top dog here in the world. There's people vying for the belt. So we gotta again focus on ourselves, and that's where we'll leave it at, guys. But again, thank you all for coming on board. We appreciate it all. We'll see you all. Thank you. We'll see you all.
We have now arrived at our stop.
Exactly. We will see you all next time. Take care. Good night. And Godspeed.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it. I'm not quite sure. I may do one this week talking about Brightline. I have to look more into what's going on because this stinks. I need to start connecting dots, see what's going on, and go from there. And hopefully I can get dedicated time this week to work on it. I'm also like getting out videos. I mean, shit, I just need to get videos getting out there.
You make me feel real when you tell me something. I like it when I see you often. So baby, say you're feeling the same, yeah. You make me feel real when you tell me something. I like it when I see you often. So baby, say you're feeling the same, yeah, yeah.
Alright, so he came up, drove us through, said, this is fine, you need a license. It's fine now. And then wait, the counter just say you can't write it. That's something that's gotta go on like on the Lackluster channel or something like that. It's just ridiculous. Oh, there's Darius has something to say about this thing. He definitely Hey man, how's it going? You know, there's been more lives saved every year from just citizen use of their own firearms, about 3 million defensive uses of firearms. Yeah. Wait, okay, so wait, hold on. So the woman
You
was
make me feel real when you tell me something. I like it when I see you
okay, so
often.
hence because there's a mic
Baby, say you're
they're now banning
feeling the
electric
same, yeah. You make me feel real when you tell me something. I like it when I see you often. So baby, say you're feeling the same, yeah, yeah.
Wait. Let my understood quote because I know exactly what you're gonna say. Go ahead. Go ahead. Wait. Let's instead of a bike, it's an electric. Wait, it's a car, but it's this way. But it was a woman, and she was picking my kid behind the car. So that's what it's related to cars. This is just it's silly. It really is silly.